I just had to check mics to make sure.
That's not a check mic when we have
he just started recording and you cussed.
That's the first one. Yes.
Was it? Wait, hold on. You did?
I caught it 15 seconds ago.
Was it 15 seconds?
Yes. I caught on.
You can't blame me.
That's true. I didn't give a warning or anything.
Usually
like
he catches my eye and then I know.
Yeah, he caught my eye this time. So
you didn't catch mine? You didn't look at me and go like give me a wink, something to hey.
All right, so we're doing this audio test live.
Yes.
Go ahead and lower his just a little bit, just
you.
a smidge.
How the hell are you going to tell me that we're going to start doing an audio test and start recording? What are you doing? Why automatically I curse?
Or not Rene. Nick, I need you to understand something, okay?
You
are on the website. It says you are marketing manager. I am production manager, okay? Rene, who sits behind audio, is the one that's in charge of that. So don't get mad at me.
I'm going to get mad at you because you didn't wink.
That's the only reason why I'm mad.
Nick,
I was looking at you.
Nick,
do
you see the winks now? Do you see this now?
A little too late now.
We're recording.
A little too late now, buddy.
I think the listeners can hear your winks.
Don't bleep that. Leave it in.
No, I'm bleeping it. I have to.
We have to stay within YouTube guidelines.
Yeah, we do.
10 seconds of that of the thing. Bleep.
YouTube's already gonna demonetize us already. Up. Nope.
I'm glad. I'm so glad. I'm gonna keep saying I'm so glad Nick joined us. The chemistry just got it was already good.
Yeah. I was gonna say I love you too, Bryan.
The chemistry was good with you, Rene, but it's a lot better.
It's a lot better now.
Because now me and Bryan can just vibe.
Yeah, whatever.
No, so I did have someone that did love that we have Nick on the show. Is Joe, another listener. He says he likes the three dynamic of us as well.
Hey.
He also likes that sometimes me and Nick will team up and go against you.
Why is that the thing? Why go against me?
You know what?
It's just funny to listen.
You know what, Bryan?
It's not that no one doesn't like you. It's a funny.
I didn't say no one liked me, but now I'm questioning that.
You make it seem like every time that people don't like
it's
you.
It's not personal. It just happens.
And it's funny.
It provides content.
Yes.
Can I start the podcast with the story that I have?
We also can't do it to Rene. He's delicate. Look at that face.
It's a beautiful face, which you can see on the website, keepingupwiththenerdz.com.
Yeah.
There's the plug.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. All right, what's your story?
All right, so on the way over here, so for whatever, I feel like coming into Uptown Whittier, I love the fact that it's more lively, people are coming out, pandemic's not over. But at least there's
that's not how Whittier's acting.
But at least there's life out in the streets, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
But every Friday when we come and record, I always feel like it's a roulette now of trying to find parking, right? Because I went to the newly built parking structure that's here in Uptown Whittier,
right?
And the guy working out there, I'm not going to say who it is, or I don't know the name. I'm not going to give you the description.
Did you catch his name on the way in?
No, I did. He's just letting cars in. We get all the way to the top. Then I have to drive all the way back down because there's no parking.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was already mad because I'm
hey, you suck at your job.
I told him, I was just there's no parking, right? He's like, oh, cool, thanks. And I'm like, okay. Okay.
I will tell you.
In age demographic, what would you roughly say?
He was probably mid-20s.
Oh, that makes sense.
So about my age.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. When I was driving into the parking lot, he was hardcore flirting with every girl that passed.
Oh no!
He was hard. He was like, "Hey, what's up?" and I just drove.
He wasn't
past
those people
him.
that'd be like, "Hey, hey."
Yeah.
He wasn't one of those, but you can tell that he just was over what was going on there.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was already mad. So I finally find parking a block and a half away further from what I usually park in to get over here.
Yeah.
And as I'm walking by, I have to walk by the parking structure. And I see these Gen Zers. Yeah, I did.
Oh, you already popped yours open?
Oh, my bad.
We have to do the intro and then we pop it up.
Anyways, let me.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry.
You're the one that popped it up.
I'm sorry. I was, I haven't had caffeine all day. Sorry. So as I'm walking by the parking structure, I look up and I see these 3 Gen Zers.
Okay.
These Zoomers. Right. Okay.
One of them all the way to the top, right?
All the way to the top.
They were all the way to the top, sitting on the ledge.
Okay.
So I saw them.
Okay. So You saw them.
Yeah.
But I saw them getting, so for whatever reason, they got off and then they sat back on there because as I'm walking by, one of them looks over and then hops over the thing and sits right on the ledge. And there's like a little safety bank right there that like, there's a little safety bank. So,
I saw them,
we're going to put in quotations, they're safe, right?
Kinda.
You in a way.
Yeah.
Legally, yes.
If a strong breeze hits them, they probably wouldn't be as
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm walking, I'm just like, and they know I'm looking at them, and they're just looking at me back, and I'm just like, do these kids think they're in like some sort of Final Fantasy Kingdom Hearts scenario where like, sitting on top of a building ledge is okay?
Eating a sea salt ice cream.
Eating the sea. That was my initial thought because I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, I completely understand. We were all kids who wanted to do the same thing.
Now Brian, you're an old man.
My back hurts.
You've been an old man since you were 5.
I am barely 27. I may act older, but I still feel 27.
If there was a character that fit Brian's description, it'd be Nick Miller from New Girl.
Yes. He's
like,
oh my god.
If anything, you're like,
my
like,
fiance said the same thing.
You're like 75% Nick Miller.
I'm happy though because I usually I'm really happy because usually I get referred to as Nick Miller and I'm really happy that it's now Brian.
The new Nick Miller. Hey, that's fine. He gets a bar.
That's true.
Yeah. He's living it. He might drive a broken down car. He might have his pocket change, his bank account information in his sandwich bagging.
Yeah.
But
that's fine.
It's a really funny
I loved
idea.
how they looked up his credit score.
What was it again?
It was like 7. That was it. And she's like, one of the coworkers at the place that they checked his credit score, they're like, have you been living under a rock? Have you been living in a cave?
My favorite Nick Miller moment is when he this is like right after he gets the bar, an older person starts visiting him and he thinks that it's him from the future. Yeah, because I've totally acted out that scenario where sometimes I think that there's like an older person following me around, which I still do. I still think that,
there's an older you following you around.
Yes. Like,
you don't think that older you has better things to do
no
than follow you around?
Why? If I had access to a time machine, yes, I would go back in time and stalk me. And I'm saying that now, speaking into existence.
Why?
He's right there. No, he's
Why?
Not. You imagine that happening?
Just see a shadow back out.
But like, why? Why would you, of all the things you could do with time travel, you went to go visit you?
Why not?
Not even to fix things?
No, I don't want a butterfly effect.
That's true.
Yeah.
We're too far into COVID now to stop it.
Yeah, exactly. Nick is like, wouldn't you go back to prevent it from happening?
Yeah.
No, that's when he gets like a note on his like front door.
I've seen enough Futurama to know exactly what's going on.
No, man, that's when you get a note on your door that's like in the middle of January and it says buy like $1,000 at GameStop. And
for whatever reason, I feel like if I had the ability to time travel back and tell me something from the future, I wouldn't. I don't know why.
I have a feeling I wouldn't believe me. like I know me.
Yeah.
And I'm
like
stubborn.
You know it's you.
Like I'm stubborn.
Yeah.
I'm super stubborn.
It's Nick. What? I'm you from the future.
That's cool.
That's
okay.
So
what do you want me
obviously,
to do with this?
So obviously we figured that out. All right.
Wasn't that the you look like me?
What would you do if your future self had to go back in time? Would you like tell yourself information to like better the outcome of what's going on? Would you Terminator, like do the Terminator thing?
I don't know, because I'm always afraid of like the consequences of that. That's the thing.
I'd go. You wouldn't do the Deadpool. They go back to strangle baby Hitler.
Was that Deadpool kills Deadpool, or was that something else?
And then
that was in the movie.
Yeah, that
was in the movie.
Yeah,
that's right.
It was the cut ending.
Yeah.
It was the alternate ending that they had.
It was a super duper cut that the second movie. Yeah.
And then he adds it, and he's just like, oh, this is gonna be real hard. Oh, just think of the Holocaust. Think of the Holocaust.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And he's like,
he goes, Max, and then he goes like, Max
my friend. He goes down and strangle baby Hitler.
That was the second one, right? The first one.
No, that's the end of the second one.
Yeah. In the second one.
When he uses Cable's little time machine thing.
Could you imagine Ryan Reynolds producing the next Mortal Kombat movie if he is in fact Johnny Cage?
That'd be funny.
That'd be great.
I would. Yeah, I think that would be really sick. And I also want the dude from John Wick to do the fighting.
Ooh, there you go. Speaking of what, did you guys see the trailer for the new Hitman's Bodyguard movie?
Yeah.
Dude, I remember going to a test screening of the first one.
Oh yeah, you told me about that. Yeah.
That was like so cool. I loved that movie when it first came out, and then when I saw it with the actual, because when I saw it didn't have CG.
Oh, so yeah.
So like it was so funny, because the ending where like the helicopter explodes and you see Samuel Jackson walking, and you see like all these things. It literally like as like you see drawings.
Yeah.
It's so it's just like drawing
concept art. Yeah.
Just concept art, and then you see like a stick figure Samuel Jackson walking.
What? That's
like,
the test screening?
Yeah, that was early because you saw it like a year before it came out.
I saw it a year before it came out, so it was like the movie's done and we have everything fit together.
The filming's done, yeah.
We just want to give you the outline.
Where they were seeing how people were liking the ending. So like they were picking people. So like they were asking people questions at the end of it. Like, what did you guys think of the ending? How would do you think that do you think that worked? What character did you not like?
See, I would love to do that if we ever do a movie and we have a budget.
Oh, we're gonna.
But then
that's the goal.
But
don't say we're gonna. Don't say that if we did, we're gonna.
But I would do it like it's kind of like that. And then we would do like a kind of like it's like a Monty Python kind of vibe where it's like we just go, okay, here's the big moment, and just so concept art be like, and then subtext is like didn't have enough money for the budget, but this was the idea of what we were doing.
Spent most of the budget on craft services.
Yeah.
A table outside for lunch for the crew, which mainly just consisted of us.
That was like a grand.
That's where our
It was
budget.
like a grand.
That was our budget.
It was mostly lobster and steak. Like
it's just like, and then like we started off the movie like so like this is our big budget movie, which means we have a big budget movie, which means big budget actors, and we just go like, here's Sir Anthony Hopkins for 5 seconds. So unfortunately, we only had enough money to have him for 5 seconds.
And it's
any more seconds after that's $500. Like,
and it was a Zoom call.
It was a Zoom call.
All right, are we ready to start the show?
Well, you didn't even tell your story.
Yeah, no,
I did. That was it.
That was it.
That was
Yeah,
it.
it was just the kids. It made me mad.
Way to fall into a bit, Brian. Like,
God,
I like how after you said that you realized what you. Just further two things that Brian's an old man,
which is why Brian would get mad at a rock.
And then also another segment that we always have on the show, Brian's bothers.
and this is why Brian would get mad at a rock.
It just okay. Look. Can I let me defend myself here before we intro? Okay. I was concerned for the kids' safety.
Too late.
And I was just like, why are you guys trying to recreate Kingdom Hearts 2? Okay, that you guys weren't even born back then.
Kingdom Hearts 2 is sick.
It is the best.
Yeah.
It's one of the best video games I've ever played in my life.
Because they want to be Deku from My Hero Academia.
God, it's my story. Zoomers, man, I've reached an age where now I just get mad at the next generation.
Hey, what are you doing up there? Get down.
Don't you have a family to get to?
F me, F you.
More the reason I am Nick Miller. All right, so we got the intro, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, you guys are taking lead on this one.
Right.
Yes, let's
Hey,
do it.
Nick.
All right, let's do this.
All right.
Hello, citizens. Welcome to Keeping Up with the Nerds Variety Hour, coming to you from 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California, aiming to be Whittier's #1 podcast for all things nerdy. I'm your host, Nick Valero.
It's Bryan.
Rene.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know that you were rubbing this, right?
I was.
Yeah. It's making sounds. Stop.
In a very sensual.
Why do you make? We brought you on this show because we love you, not because I want to do more work in the edit.
Is it bad that I do it to piss him off?
Yes.
And now he's gonna listen to it again and be like, God.
What are you doing?
See, but
Wow,
then he's
editing.
gonna. But the funny thing is, he's gonna listen back to it and he goes, "God damn it, that's funny."
That was some funny stuff.
It's funny.
Oh man, last week's episode was just fun.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
It was. And
I was listening to it again and I was just like, man, we had a fun time just like going off.
my jaw hurt last week.
Just from the amount of laughing.
Like from us laughing, like that and other stuff. But
Yeah. Brian was.
That's the one joke you get.
we
No
ate
more.
a lot of Sonic after.
They did. Can you tell us what this issue is all about, Nicholas?
What today's issue is all about is we were going to talk about Marvel. We were going to talk about Marvel, all things about it. First off, the new lineup for the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
What a way to
came out.
intro, man. What a way to announce your lineup.
Right?
Yeah, with like a little trailer.
With a semi-trailer of what's going on.
Yeah.
I was telling Rene, though, I thought it was really interesting that because of COVID and because of all the changes, names got changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like Captain Marvel 2 is now the Marvels. And then also, I'm wondering what's going to happen to Blade. Because Blade, do you think it's been axed?
So we'll get more into detail there, or do you want to start talking about it now?
I say let's start talking about it.
Start talking about it?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Just start
do it.
shooting in? All right, let's do it.
Get in
So it's here's what I kind of initially thought watching that trailer. First of all, that 3-minute trailer was just fantastic to watch. Like Marvel, out of every production studio, knows how to hype its stuff up. It's already got like a great, backlog.
Yeah.
Great content. It's like fantastic. If you listening to the intro or the Marvel Studios intro, like you already get hyped.
Yeah.
Right? And they just sold it to you with this. But this isn't to say that, projects that have been in development are not safe from being axed. And I think that's what's going on with Blade. Because Blade was announced. Why Morbius? Why was that also not in there? Because it's Sony?
It's so I'm feeling like there's a weird thing with contracts. I do feel like that's another thing that might be kind of interesting to see where things are going, because I don't know what the distribution thing for Morbius is.
Quick little thing about contracts in Marvel. So in comic world, at least, I just got told by my boss Susan here at the at Undercity Comics guys that Marvel. Remember how Marvel recently obtained Fox?
Yes.
Or at least
20th Century?
Disney. Yeah, Disney has obtained 20th Century Fox.
Yeah.
So that means, Marvel can put out 20th Century Fox properties, which means they put out the new Alien
under Marvel.
And they were planning on doing Predator to put out as a comic book in the Marvel.
Does Fox also own? I thought Predator was a Universal thing.
No, it's a Fox thing. Apparently.
It's a Fox thing?
It's a Fox thing.
Oh, sure.
Or maybe they recently went to Fox, or probably a couple of years
back. I could have
back.
sworn it was Universal.
I think it was, but then now it's. But so here's the thing: the creators of Predator, or at least the people that created the character, were supposed to get their contract renewed by 20th Century Fox before the Disney buyout. It never happened.
Okay.
They didn't say nothing apparently, and when Disney obtained it, the contract went up from Fox.
He's right. 20th Century Fox distributed by.
Okay.
Dang.
So, which means that Marvel had planned on putting out a Predator comic, but now they can't anymore because they have to buy back the rights.
Who has it now?
That's insane.
No, apparently it's back to the creators, and they own it.
Good.
And they're asking for money.
Good.
Yeah, good.
Heck yeah.
Good.
They're waiting for that Disney money. That's why.
Heck yeah, I would totally.
So
Are you kidding?
You want to use my character?
Yeah.
You want to pay me my money?
So someone messed up at 20th Century Fox to renew that contract.
Well, that's what happened with Batman.
Yeah.
That's actually what happened with Batman. That's how you got Batman 89, because somebody at DC or somebody at Warner Brothers forgot to renew the rights to Batman.
So starting this week, they were supposed to put out Predator variants for Marvel Comics, starting with Amazing Spider-Man. They had to pull it.
That's crazy.
They had to pull it because they don't own it. Until the contract settled.
Until the contract gets settled.
Yeah.
That means that there's books printed already.
Yeah, they were gonna put out the first issue next month.
Yeah, that means that there's books already.
They can't put it out. It's on Brian's. And I was excited for that one as well too, because I like Predator.
Wow. Yeah, those books are.
Yeah,
those books are already made.
Yeah,
I mean, good for
They had
them.
the writers, they had the artists.
I'm telling you that there are boxes of comic books that are just sitting in a warehouse somewhere. And they can't be distributed. And
What's
they're
that?
losing money.
What's that TikTok where the guy's just like, he gets his credit card and he goes like,
yeah, that's a new meme. Like, take it. That's Disney in a few months. Watch.
Isn't that what was it? Isn't that a Futurama one? Shut up and take my money.
Yeah, shut
yeah,
up and take my money with Frog.
that's our generation. The Zoomers now have the credit card. They're like, just take it.
No, I've always loved Fry. I've always loved fries. I'm just like, sir, we have a private roast coffee. Shut up and take my money.
No, I'm torn. Good for them,
Yeah. Right.
because they created Predator. These original creators. I don't know who they are, but good for them. Ask for that money. It is a big property. You have every right to do so. Why not?
Also, that's their fault.
Yeah.
that's your fault.
Yeah.
Like, you owned it.
Yeah.
Yep.
All you had to do was renew it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Someone
Now,
didn't
so
do that.
now, Marvel, this is your fault. I want my Amazing Spider-Man Predator variant at my front desk.
Oh, dude, somebody got fired.
Oh.
Somebody got fired.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way that somebody doesn't like.
There's someone that has to look into those and be like, okay, we gotta
That
do
poor
this. We
intern.
gotta read.
So Marvel, if you're interested, I'm available to work. You can just look up our bios at keepingupwiththenerds.com and just hit us up and we'll be in charge. We'll
We'll
I'm
look
just-
into all the contracts
I'm
and
just-
see, like, renew this one, renew that one.
I'm just, what I'm saying right now is I think that whoever messed up, because that's so hard. I
So
would
apparently,
imagine-
yeah, that's the thing. And then apparently the creators were like, apparently they knew, and they didn't say anything.
Why would you?
They can't. There's no reason to.
Why would you?
Yeah.
I haven't been sent a new contract.
Yeah,
Why would I say? Why would I?
it's not their
tell
job.
them-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not my job to remind you that you need to pay me again in order to use this property. So if you want to use this property again, we're gonna have to renegotiate. And that's
And now-
great.
Yeah, and now it's like, oh, Fox has that Disney money.
Yeah.
Let me
They'll
get-
pay
let me
for
get
it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll pay for it. There's
They'll
no,
pay
there's
for
no,
it.
there's no way in hell because Predator has such a huge following, such a big following.
Going back to Phase 4.
Yes.
Yes,
It was
back
a
to
little
Phase
interesting
4.
tidbit.
That was
because,
because it just hit me today. I forgot that happened this week.
Yeah, because to connect back on like this whole aspect of like what they're going to be doing distributing wise and all that stuff, like we look at that lineup. Okay, I'm going to argue this, Nick, because you said okay, Morbius is weird. Spider-Man's still a Sony property. You know, they still technically have rights to that movie more than
Spider-Man's
Disney.
so-
does.
more than
Sony just came up with an idea with a deal with Netflix to put out animated Spider-Man stuff
Yeah,
content.
but
All
so-
the Spider-Man movies now released will be released
You-
on Netflix, but also
you cannot compare Spider-Man and Morbius. You can't compare them.
no. So this is the point I'm trying to get at is that I know that deal that you're talking about. But they also worked a deal with Disney Plus to have the Spider-Man movies that are in the MCU to now stream on Disney Plus later on. I think it comes in June.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't compare the two, but this is what I'm saying. There's been this whole rumor about Morbius still somehow being involved in the MCU because technically this Morbius movie is connected to the current MCU Spider-Man, right?
It should be because they showed Vulture at the end of
Well,
it.
here's
Exactly.
but here's the thing, though, and there's an easy answer for that: multiverse.
Well, okay, yes.
That's the dumbest and easiest answer.
It's the writer's way out.
That's how
yeah.
Deadpool will say that's just lazy writing.
That's yeah.
No, it absolutely, don't get me wrong. I absolutely agree with you. It's definitely lazy writing.
Yes.
That is like you opening up a TV show, killing everyone, and then finding out that it was like a dream of like an alternate universe that was murdered beforehand. That's lazy. Like that's terrible. But honestly, I can totally see because it's really weird because I don't think they were expecting to get the contracts for Morbius, for everything else, for all these other things, and with that, things kind of get tossed up because the movie wasn't written to. It wasn't written to be a part of the MCU.
No.
How do I change this movie that was never meant to be part of the MCU to slightly have MCU vibes in it now? Because immediately,
piggyback on it.
Yeah, to piggyback, and because that's hard. That's hard to say because if that's the case, and because Morbius was also supposed to take place in the same thing as Venom. They were
Oh
supposed
yeah,
to be
that was
taking
supposed to
place-
be a shared universe.
They were supposed to be
yeah.
a shared universe of Venom because what was it? Eddie Brock was supposed to be like mentioned in Mobius, especially with Carnage coming out as well. That doesn't make any sense because it takes place in San Francisco. It would have immediately Ant-Man and everything else. They would have talked about it because that only makes sense.
There's ways around it.
They had a giant fight on top of a building. You're telling me while they destroyed the building.
I mean, Daredevil, the Netflix series, got around the whole catastrophe that happened in New York by only mentioning it in the articles. And Hell's Kitchen is close enough that you can see Avengers Tower. They never showed it though.
they showed it in backgrounds,
Once or
they
twice. They showed it in one of the posters.
and one of the sky, and you can see it in the skyline.
Yeah.
you can like when they do like a pan.
Yeah.
You see Avengers Tower in the skyline of New York.
But that's where it becomes like an issue personally, because like now you're dealing with this kind of like that you mentioned this before, where it's like you're balancing so many things and something's bound to go wrong.
Yeah.
Right? So this is kind of what I feel is going to happen with Phase 4. Like, we finally got a public, because what we knew beforehand in Phase 4, and this was like a couple issues back when we talked about it, this is like a, what is it called? Not an investors, but a, the meeting that they have. It is an investors meeting.
Yeah, it was an investors meeting, yeah.
So it's not meant for us. It's meant for investors. So that way investors know what's the lineup and what's going to be happening. In that one, they mentioned Blade, I think.
No, they mentioned Blade at Comic-Con.
But didn't they mention that Blade
They mentioned Blade also at the investors meeting.
Yeah, it was in the timeline.
It wasn't the time.
So this is the one. This public announcement doesn't have it. And keep in mind, in the investors meeting, or the Marvels was not listed as the Marvels. This was listed as Captain Marvel 2. Exactly. So now I kind of have a feeling that Phase 4 is somewhat in a bit of a crumble.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it right now, and I forgot there were some other shows that they showed. What is it, like last year, the end of last year? Remember they were supposed to do Armor Wars with Don Cheadle?
That's still happening.
It's still happening.
Yeah,
and then
they announced it in that one.
So and then they're still moving forward with Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Haven't heard anything about Ironheart?
That's scrapped, I think.
No.
Or is it in?
They casted the actress.
They casted the actress already.
But they haven't done anything. They're showing more stuff for, was it Miss Marvel?
Here's what I think is going to
She-Hulk. Or She-Hulk.
I think that Armor Wars is going to lead into Ironheart. But as of right now, everything has been kind of thrown all over the place for production reasons, where we can't necessarily, we can't go shoot this movie. We haven't been able to shoot a movie in a year. So everything is kind of like all over the place.
Yeah.
On like schedules and everything else. So it's one of those things of, okay, so we need to push everything back at least a year. So Ironheart, I think they're still trying to work it in, because Ironheart is supposed to be a huge part of it, where she takes over for Tony Stark. But they're
not a fan, but sure. Okay.
But I mean that. But,
yeah, I get what you're saying.
But like for a mainstay of a character, like Tony Stark to be replaced, that would be insane, because it kind of feels like they took Ironheart's storyline and put it towards Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that's kind of like the storyline that they're going with.
Yeah.
It's the Ironheart storyline.
Can you give our listeners a short little summary?
Okay, so, oops, I didn't mean to do that.
You're all good.
I literally had an itch, and I was like, oh, okay. No, so, because in Ironheart, I forget her name. What's,
Riri Williams.
Yes, Riri Williams. She comes up, and then she ends up liking not Captain America, Iron Man.
Yeah.
She's a super genius.
Yeah,
she's able to make her own Iron Man suit.
What she did was that she was able to get the Mach 1 armor and upgraded it and made her own suit out of it. Tony found out about it
and then
tracked her down.
Yeah, took her under the wing.
Okay.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
They basically copy pasted that with the Spider-Man movies in the MCU. That's why you get the introduction of like the suit that's all upgraded and stuff, and he was able to handle it his own. No, yeah, and this is kind of like because this is the thing is that, you know, when we take a look at the Spider-Man storyline in the MCU, it's far different than what we've ever seen in anything. Yeah. I mean, the armored spider wasn't even supposed to be introduced the way it was. That's in Civil War. And that was specifically a design that was, you know, manufactured by Stark Industries, but then he later upgraded himself and kind of made it his own. This was just more like, armored spider, because, you know, I'm going to fight in space. Cool. Set it like, and then he'd like all come out and what is it like? Oh, set up in kill mode or whatnot. And he starts like,
I think Osborn also used the Iron Spider for a while, right?
Yeah. Osborn did a bunch of stuff because he did it in the Iron Patriot using War Machine and stuff like that. And so origins are kind of thrown out the window in the MCU, but like still, you know, I do agree with you that like, you know, there's some production that's just kind of like not managed well at the moment. And this is because of the pandemic. But this is what I mean, that Phase 4 is kind of feeling like it's a little bit in crumbles. Like, we get this public announcement, but how much as a fan base should we trust that these release dates are going to stay true to what they are?
I think right now, as long as we don't have another shutdown, we should be fine.
Yeah.
I think as long as everything kind of stays the course, and vaccines keep on going out, things open up, and everything else, I think that you're probably going to get a lot closer to those being accurate dates.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. It just came out, I think it was like this week, one of the production managers, I don't know if it was a production manager, someone who worked on WandaVision essentially said that the WandaVision ending was supposed to have Doctor
Oh,
Strange.
yeah.
Yeah.
You guys heard about that, right?
Yes.
But this was scrapped because of the pandemic, and
That
they had to
makes
change
sense.
it to fit the narrative that they're going forward with.
Yeah.
Okay, we looked at WandaVision, and we all three of us said that WandaVision was fun. We just had our little problems with it here and there because
Yeah.
of the pacing, right?
Yeah. Right.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier was phenomenal. All of us loved it. We didn't have issues with it, but we loved it because it had the MCU format there.
Yeah.
So with those two series now out there, do we have faith in Marvel Studios moving forward with the little time they've had in producing the next couple of movies? We don't know what Black Widow's going to look like. Not until what? Isn't it she's supposed to come out this month?
July.
July?
Yeah.
It's July 12th, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. They wanted to wait. Marvel wanted to wait until well into like
Until the
theaters are open.
Yeah, well, until like I guess you can say like the reconstruction.
But is Black Widow going to be the blueprint of every movie moving forward?
No.
Well, that's the thing though, is that I feel like Black Widow is going to be very odd because Black Widow was supposed to be the first thing that came out, and it was going to kind of set the tone.
Well, that's the thing. Black Widow's timeline in the Marvel Cinematic Universe
Takes place right after Civil War.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she still has her red hair. She hasn't
her red hair has just grown out. Like in the so this is supposed to be during that 2 years that they're on the run.
Okay.
Same thing with when Black Panther came out. It came out.
Excuse me moving my mic. I apologize.
It came out. Or it's supposed to happen right after Civil War, but that movie came out like long after Civil War came out. Black Panther, because the timeline in that one takes place right after Civil War, like literally like 2 weeks or a week after.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, yeah. So, I mean, that's how Black Widow is. It takes place within that timeline.
Okay, so there's two questions then that really stand out for Black Widow. Does it serve as a blueprint for movies coming out later in terms of like, you know, how well are they going to stand out? When we look at the MCU movies, like we all have our individual favorites, right? And we can all say that there was like maybe one that doesn't stand out as well as everything else. You know, like the Iron Man movies. Iron Man 3 is probably like one of the weakest in the MCU, right? But we don't take Iron Man 3 and say like, oh no, the MCU is trash because of Iron Man 3.
No.
Or Iron Man 3 is, you know, the representation of Phase 2, therefore it's trash. You know, Phase 2 is trash. No. But Black Widow.
You don't like Iron Man 3, really?
I know I like it, but you know that there's people out there that don't.
I
enjoy it. I enjoy Iron Man 3.
I think I got into like a screaming match at like a Target once because of that.
What? Because with
Because
someone?
someone didn't like it?
Because it wasn't just that somebody didn't like it. Like somebody was like talking shit about it, and like they didn't like their points just didn't make any sense. Like they were just like, it's so slow. It's just really slow.
I hate
He's
when
not
people say that.
and he's not in the suit like the whole time.
Didn't you and I argue years ago? Not argue, but we said that Iron Man 2 was like okay. And the only reason I like Iron Man 2 is because of that fight scene with Iron Man and War Machine just going like freaking bullets all over the place in the dome.
I'm almost positive we did.
Yeah.
We probably had a discussion one time about like Iron Man 2, but I personally really do like Iron Man 3. But also I like those kind of movies though. Like I like that type.
So they're not terrible, but they could have been better.
I really enjoyed that movie.
I think the only MCU movie that we could, I think, universally all agree that was
Dark
a
World?
weak one was Dark World.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Sure.
If you had
I've
to
only seen
choose-
Dark World like twice.
That's the thing. It's one of those movies that, like, again, it's a Marvel movie. You watch it if it's part of the lineup or if it's on. But do you willingly watch?
No.
No one
No,
does.
no one does.
Yeah.
So then, in terms of like production, with everything has that happened, because keep in mind, Black Widow was supposed to come out almost a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
2 years at this point. It was supposed to come out in 2019, right? Supposedly
It was supposed to come out 2019 in May.
in May. Pushed back to 2020, pandemic. 2021, early. Pushed back.
It just kept getting pushed.
It just
back.
kept getting
Yeah.
pushed back.
And at this point, it was just on hold.
I understand.
Well, we even said in the beginning, like, the reason why.
They want theaters to open.
Yeah, they want theaters to open. They want to try to make money from it.
That's I don't believe that. I firmly believe that there's some production changes to this movie. I firmly believe that there is a, produced. Hang on.
Well, they did
it's coming up.
They did that to Falcon Winter Soldier. They changed certain things, storylines, when they had to meet up with the new, super soldier serum guy. He said he was supposed to say something about what happened to Kari's dead mother. Essentially,
Yeah.
It was there's a pandemic going on.
Yeah.
And they thought that because people were going through a pandemic, they thought it would be too too real.
Yeah.
So they wanted to take that storyline out.
But
That's why
again-
they're talking about vaccines and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, WandaVision was supposed to have Doctor Strange at the end, and they scrapped that to fit the narrative. And I do believe that there is a copy of Black Widow out there that has, the original narrative format. That probably changed, more than likely, for the July release this year.
Yeah.
So should that movie be the blueprint of what to expect? And by that I mean like production-wise. If this movie just does not fit
Like setting
well.
up the new phase.
Yeah, exactly. Will it do a
Basically-
good job production? Well, not phase, set up the phase, but like set up production-wise is what I'm saying.
Well, the thing is that from because what you're saying is that you think that while it was delayed, they may have changed things.
Yes.
From its original cut. I disagree,
Mm-hmm.
and here's the reason why. Because you can really tell when a story has been chopped up and stuff like and everything else. Like, perfect example, Rogue One. From its first trailer, going to its before its theatrical trailer, like its release trailer, completely different scenes.
Yes.
And like utterly different. If you look at the Black Widow movie, it looks like literally all they've been doing is just taking out the date and replacing it.
Like just keeping it modern.
Yeah, just
in a
keep.
way.
Well, no. But I mean, just like literally getting the day of like its release and just changing it, because every single time, if you put all of those trailers
Oh,
up
I
against
see.
each other, they have not changed from the very beginning all the way until now.
But Marvel/Disney have been like very smart in how they release trailers. So
No.
that's what.
But the thing is that if you were gonna completely change an entire like arc of a movie and add scenes into it, and they were gonna be cool scenes, most likely they would have popped up inside of a trailer.
Yeah,
Okay.
it would have been like how Justice League was.
Yeah, because Justice League also changed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Justice League also changed where like in the trailer there were brand new scenes where you were like, whoa,
yeah.
wait a minute, that's
from the
new.
first one we got. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's a new trailer. Like I don't remember that scene.
And
in
the
the first.
tone completely changed.
Yeah, because like when you look at Rogue One from the very first trailer, that looked like a hardcore. It looked like
it
the
looked
storm-
very intense.
It looked like storming the beaches of Normandy.
Yeah. And then
they-
also it had what's her name taking on what is it
An AT-AT.
yeah, that, and also no, wasn't it a TIE fighter she takes on? Like she's walking.
They still have that in the movie.
Okay.
The big thing that they changed was her running towards an AT-AT.
Oh, okay.
Because she's there.
That's
she's,
right.
She's running the plans from one part of the island to the other part of the island, and that's what they were saying.
Oh, that's right.
Because
Yeah.
what the director said is I wanted it to feel like storming the beaches of Normandy.
Yeah.
Of just like her running and just things are exploding around her.
Yeah.
People are dying. People are falling. He was like, I wanted to see war in Star Wars.
In
They
Star
probably scrapped
Wars.
that. After he said that quote, they probably scrapped it. And
I
was like,
wanted a
no,
war.
we
Well, no,
can't.
they said
in
it was too
Star
dark.
Wars.
They said it was too dark.
That's lame. I still love Rogue One,
Yeah,
but that's lame.
But the original, because the original ending, Alan Tudyk and what's the Hispanic actor that's getting his Cassian Andor?
And yeah, the guy, actor that played Endor, yeah.
Yeah, he plays Cassian Andor. They actually, you can see it in the behind the scenes, their original death scene,
Yeah.
because it's them holding off as Jin is getting the plans and putting them in. And they're fighting off like stormtroopers and everything like that. Then you see like both of them dying next to each other. Whereas in the theatrical cut, he like gets shot up and then he dies at the end, right next to
Jin.
So I mean,
Both endings I think are still good. I think one's more dramatic than the other. But
it is.
yeah.
But here's where I'm going with that. You are saying that you're thinking that the movie's been changed.
Not
it would've-
dramatically, but I think that
I
there's
think it would.
something.
But even if that, I think even if it's been changed slightly, I think it's an ADR.
Okay. Now, can I ask you guys another question? Okay. If this is the movie that was supposed to kickstart all of Phase 4, should it be the blueprint of what to expect with these other movies coming in? Because now that, if we're going to say, not if we're going to, because this is apparently what they've said, this movie takes place after Civil War. Okay, now we're going back in time before the end of Phase 3, before Infinity War, before Endgame and all this other stuff. What is this movie supposed to set up?
Thunderbolts.
Okay, the Thunderbolts. Now, where do we go from here? Like, with that set up, what are we going to expect? Because what's the first movie in that lineup that's supposed to come out? Because Doctor Strange...
After Black Widow or
Shang-Chi.
After
Shang-Chi?
Shang-Chi. That movie looks fun,
I'm really excited for that one.
I
As
didn't.
long as it's better than
Iron Fist?
Iron Fist. I think
Oh,
we're fine.
that's gonna.
I think I think they'll make it better.
I
They've
think they
learned.
learned from Iron Fist.
I don't
were
think
just
Marvel
like,
Studios
oh, gosh.
learned because they were the ones that committed the mistake. I think they just said like, okay, we're not going to do what Netflix
Oh.
did. Let's do this differently.
I saw. Okay, really.
Disney still had a say when they saw it. They were still fine with it.
Yeah, but Disney also can probably like, because I mean, Netflix was the one that produced it, right? So I think that Netflix.
But Disney was also they had the rights. Like,
Yes,
they still
they-
had to say yes.
What I'm saying is that Netflix probably had the finished product. They went to Disney and said, "Is this good?" And Disney was like, "Yeah, go for it. Do whatever you want."
Really quick tidbit. So apparently, when the Shang-Chi trailer came out and like it was getting praised, and everyone was looking into the main actor, right?
Oh no, is this bad?
No, this is just funny.
He's from
okay.
Kim's Convenience.
Cardi B tried to cancel the actor.
Why?
On Twitter, because apparently he tweeted out years ago about
No.
Cardi B being like a terrible, like, why are people going to her concert? I'd rather go to a so-and-so. Or he said like a really funny
But
thing about it.
There's a difference between getting canceled because you did something inappropriate
Yeah.
to I just don't get people who like your music.
So everyone that saw that tweet about what Cardi B said retweeted and say, shut up, like, yeah, like
turned on Cardi B?
she was saying basically like, don't watch the Shang-Chi movie because this actor, the main actor, is a horrible, like blah blah blah, said this bad thing about me. Everyone's like, yeah, we're really gonna not see the first Asian American led movie from Marvel Studios. Like, yeah, we're not gonna do that. Like,
I don't know if this is appropriate to say, but wasn't she also the one that straight up admitted that she used to drug men and steal their money?
Yes.
yes, Cardi, I'm not shocked.
So then why,
Cardi
like,
B
again,
back in the day, yeah.
again, I'll just say this.
She's just being petty.
She's being petty. She's
Yeah.
being very manipulative.
Yeah.
And
That's the thing.
can we go back to the topic
No,
we were
why
talking
Why
about?
did you
She's-
bring this up?
I was
again?
just thought it was funny.
that just makes me so mad.
Yeah.
It's like
now he's upset again.
now-
Now he's upset again.
Now-
First, he
he's
just
gotta-
got over the kids. He just got over the kids.
I almost spit right now. I was gonna do a loud slurp.
Can you please not upset him, please? God, please, Renee, we have a show to run here.
Those kids
kids
are
are-
already afraid. They're already afraid.
They're already afraid.
We can't find them.
Stop! Oh, God, man. You're making me out to be a villain, and I'm not. I'm just Nick Miller, okay?
Those milk cartons aren't going to show themselves.
Nick!
They don't do that anymore.
They don't.
They don't. I wish
Yeah.
they. That would, I mean,
Now it's just like a wall on Walmart.
what?
You,
I wish they did, but then also I get why. Because then also in the when you're eating breakfast, like you don't want something sad like this kid's missing. Like that's messed up.
I got my cocoa.
I love how
Puffs.
this is the thing that Nick talks about, but instead, when I was a kid, I didn't look at the back of a milk carton of the thing. I was looking at the back of a cereal box because I was trying to figure out the puzzles.
Why?
That wasn't.
First of all, I never got a milk carton. We got the gallon jug thing.
And also,
Same.
aren't you, also, please don't tell me you didn't figure out the bottom of the box trick.
You open the bottom of the box of the cereal and then get the prize out. You didn't open the
top.
cereal, the top, and then basically.
No, I
okay.
never ate cereal for the prize.
Oh, I always did.
Yeah.
I always
Get my okay. Well, you know what? If my mom allowed me to eat sugary cereals as a kid with prizes in it, then yeah, I would probably be.
So
very
you're
sad.
telling me that when Phantom Menace first came out, remember in every cereal box you had a lightsaber spoon. You didn't try and get those?
You try to collect them?
Kellogg's put those out as a marketing thing.
On what cereals were they?
Kellogg.
Kellogg.
Yeah, so like Frosted Flakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
also like Cheerios.
No.
Yes, they were. They were on Cheerios.
Yeah, no. My mom, no. My mom, I was a sheltered nerd, okay? I was a sheltered nerd, and if there was anything fun in a cereal, I would not have it.
Well, as me and Rene know,
Yes.
is that what you did is
And I grew up in a poor family.
If
Yeah.
you look in my home now, it is filled with a bunch of collectibles
But
for
not
reasons.
lightsaber spoons.
No, but
not
Black
lightsabers.
Series lightsabers, okay? You want to come over to my place and, mess around with the Obi-Wan Kenobi lightsaber from episode 4?
If I can bring my Darth Maul spoon saber, yes.
You just bring up- I'm over here with and Renee.
Where's the cereal?
that's hilarious. But yeah, is there still toys in the bottom of the cereal?
Not really.
It's more of a digital code,
Yeah.
Is it really a digital code?
I
Hey
think it's-
kids, you guys want to read this cool comic? Then come buy this cereal so we can give you a digital code.
You
Just
think it
scan
was-
this AR code.
You think it was because it was a choking hazard? You think like
Probably.
You think
Some
kids
kid,
didn't notice
yeah.
and they would pour like that collectible ring?
Yeah, because
into
they
their
stopped doing
cereal
that
and
in
chug
Cracker
it?
Jack boxes too. It was
What?
like, oh yeah, like, well no, because like it was like an actual toy. But now, I remember when I was a kid, when I got Cracker Jack boxes, it was like, oh yeah, it's a peelable, it's a liquid, like a sticker you could put on, or a little tattoo,
My
stuff.
dad told me about when he was growing up, because that was when the Super Friends were coming out.
Yeah.
Like there was the actual like Super Friends ring.
Yeah.
And everything like that.
cool.
Like there was like an old school Super Friends ring. Like
Brian's jaw just dropped when he said that.
Yeah.
If they if trust me, if Kid Me knew like that Kellogg's was like coming out with like, oh yeah, collect the lantern rings, you bet you I would have like found a way to get those boxes.
The
You
thing
guys had
is
the
that
lantern rings for a hot
we
minute.
can't do that now with how everyone is now.
No, you can't.
You like McDonald's when they said they were gonna put out the Pokemon cards.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
people were buying them in bulk.
People were buying so many kids meals.
I'm surprised more people didn't get shanked.
Right.
I got
Pikachu.
my Charmander card, and that's all I care
Dude,
about.
it wasn't even that big of a deal. Honestly, even if you went on like TCG, you could buy the packs for like $5.
Yeah.
They were not going.
Yeah.
But the first pack I got Charmander, and
Yeah.
I said I'm done.
That's true. I got a Charmander too, and I was like, all right,
I didn't
I'm
even
good.
get anything, but I remember me and my sister were going to McDonald's, and I remember seeing a sign that saying only like 3 kids meals now per person.
Yeah.
or
they had a
like
limit.
or within a
family.
card.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to limit it. Well, I mean, I remember when I was a kid, we used to do Burger King had the
Yeah.
golden for Pokemon 2000. They were the golden.
Oh
Pokeballs.
yes.
I have a Mewtwo and I have a Togepi.
I have one in like a storage area.
I think I got a Mewtwo one time.
Yeah, I have like 1 or 2 of them in a storage area, but I remember those because they came with the actual card in the back.
Yeah.
It was a Pokeball. Mine were given to me with a Pokeball,
A
plastic Pokeball.
Yeah, okay, so this is when you got it from Burger King. Because obviously they were
'Cause you
giving
have it your
Okay,
way.
Nick. Okay,
Well,
relax.
well, because
Nick.
you didn't get them, somebody gave them to you.
You didn't experience it the way I did.
You didn't work.
You don't
to
you don't
ask
even know
your
what
parents
packaging
to
they
get
were
me a
in.
kid's
You don't even
meal.
know what they were packing. He was just like, "Oh, yeah, mine came with a Pokeball. I don't know what was that about." And everybody else who opened it going like, "Yeah, they came in Pokeballs, duh." That's how they came.
How else would you get one?
How else would you get a Pokemon?
Look, man, you don't talk Pokemon to me, okay? I still have the original Pokedex from the 90s, all right?
Oh, I saw that. I think you showed me that. That was cool.
Still my prized possession. My brother was going to break it.
Ooh.
He was mad at me.
What?
That's a separate story. But, like, yeah, I still have that. It's, like, at home, like, there.
Is it because he thought you were Team Rocket?
No, it's because I'll put it this way. There's a Spider-Man I grew up with. It's a Spider-Man action figure, probably about maybe a foot and a half tall. And I remember my brother was like really mad at me one day that he's just like, if you frustrate me again, I swear to you, I'm going to break this guy's leg. And I'm like, don't do it because I grew up with this Spider-Man.
What is
And I
your
was
brother,
like,
a mafia boss?
no,
Like,
he just
break his leg.
I
I
love him.
swear to God, if you do it again, I'll break his leg.
I
Can't
love,
make money with his legs not broken.
Mario?
look, I love my
Yeah, it's
brother.
Gangster Mario.
Gangsta Mario.
This is Gangster Mario.
I think you know what? I think he listens to this podcast, and I love him I love him. He's a great guy.
Thank you for listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
First of all. I didn't know you were an avid listener. Thank
But
you so much.
I remember one day he
don't
got
break my
really
legs.
mad. He got really mad, and he grabbed the Spider-Man leg, threw it on the bed, and one of the legs snapped. And I remember my
Take it
heart
back, you're a
broke.
dick.
Yeah, I was,
I'm kidding.
No.
can we get back to Shang-Chi?
So Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi, everyone. And
So
the Legend of the
Shang-Chi.
Ten Rings.
Speaking of breaking someone's leg, did you see that? Shang-Chi.
Hold on. Wait. Oh, yeah. Do you want a toxic waste candy?
Yes.
From the 90s? What flavor do you want? You want blue raspberry, apple, or
Where the hell
black
did that
cherry?
come from?
Surprise
like-
me.
I'm going to give you blue raspberry.
Here, let's all.
Ow.
take-
Well, 'cause we
Jesus.
all had one. You want
Let's-
one?
Yeah. We'll all suck it on it together.
Can we just get back to Shang-Chi?
Okay,
So
well,
anyway, Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi, everyone. Speaking of which,
Speaking of Shang-Chi.
Marvel,
So-
which we're like 48 minutes in and still
Yeah,
haven't
we
moved
still
from
haven't
the
moved,
subject.
we still haven't moved on. So anyway, what I would definitely say is that these are going to be, I think these movies are going to be interesting. Shang-Chi.
Yeah. I think
looks like it's gonna be
Shang-Chi
fun.
will set up a little bit more than Black Widow will.
Yeah.
Well, Black Widow is just kind of like an introduction to like, okay, what is the next? Like you said, Thunderbolts are going to serve as these guys as Avengers in Phase 4. Like they're going to be the next big group. Because that was a question I proposed to you a couple issues ago. I'm like, what is the big group that's going to be established in Phase 4? Or is Phase 4 even going to have that big group? And Nick over here saying like, oh, it's the Thunderbolts. You're right. I think that if we're going to get a big group, we're going to probably get it in Black Widow. And Shang-Chi is probably going to be that movie that introduces the threat moving forward.
Yeah.
When you see a lot of those lineups, though, you start to realize that what Kevin Feige was saying, that this is going to be more of a, galactic multiverse centric phase. You get that in these movies.
Well, yeah, because we're getting Eternals as well too, which we saw a little footage of from the new lineup.
I wouldn't even call that footage.
Well,
it's like
camera shots, if anything.
Yeah.
What?
Like
for Eternals.
All right.
Yeah.
That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
This is really hard to talk with in my mind.
I know. That's
Yeah,
what I
now
was
because you got to pucker up and go like.
Anyway, no, but I do think that with the Eternals, that's completely different. Just because that kind of sounds like more of like an opera.
Yeah.
Than
How
anything
so?
else. Just like the main. I honestly, what I feel like it's gonna be going with a lot of backstory, because it's a lot of like unrequited love and like this thing of like two people trying to get together that aren't supposed to be getting together, everybody not remembering who they are.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's another thing, because Eternals takes place like mostly, as comic wise, takes place like away from Earth, way far away from Earth. Like,
This is another galactic story. I'm not familiar with Eternals.
yeah, Eternals are basically, these are like the first, when in Marvel canon, life was created by the Celestials.
Yes. I
And
know
the
that.
Eternals are the first people that grew from apes to how they are now, but they are immortal and they have special abilities and stuff like
I
that.
think they were created with the Infinity Stones, right?
Yeah.
And that's what gave them their powers.
Yes.
And then that's all, because from what they've said, there will be a young Thanos in the Eternals.
Yeah.
So then we're getting this. This is a throwback movie. Essentially.
It might be, but the thing is that from the footage that we saw, most of them are wearing modern clothes as well too.
So I don't really know. So it may be
It could be
back and forth.
Oh god, I'm kind of tired
Well,
of that.
that's your
though.
guys' choice.
Yeah, that's
you
the
guys
thing.
chose the sour candy.
No. The whole back and forth kind
I'm
of.
solid now. Yeah, there could be like this like double timeline being talked about, where it's like, oh yeah, like, because in all Eternals comic books, they always talk about this thing of the Eternals losing their memory, and then like generations later gaining it back.
So can I throw a wild card here? In terms of film, and I know this isn't true for everything, but it's true for some stuff. Depending on the color grading and the shading of certain films, you kind of get the tone. And Eternals is one of the first ones to have that kind of really gray tone that you get in David Fincher films when it's like very dark.
Yeah.
So I kind of have a feeling that Eternals is going to have that, I don't want to say darker tone, but there's no other way to say it. It's going to have a darker tone. If you do that whole back and forth mentality where it's like, we're going to go back and kind of like, get some throwbacks and stuff like that, and it's now modern time, I don't think that will happen a lot in those movies, just because if we're trying to set the dark tone, that's going to confuse a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think in terms of Eternals, that movie is going to be aimed at more of a serious audience. And I think that I'm going to stick with this theory that I gave you a couple issues ago. I think that phase 4 is going to be that phase that's not going to be targeted directly to us fans that have already been enveloped into this entire thing. They're trying to get a new audience. And I think that's what they're trying to do. They're not forgetting about us. We're already in it for the long haul.
Oh, I forgot Kit Harington was cast in this movie as well.
There are like multiple Game of Thrones actors. That
Yeah,
are in Eternals.
yeah.
like
That- but
Richard
consider-
Madden plays Icarus.
Now consider that. It's like, you're getting a lot of serious actors here. Shang-Chi, as much as it's like, oh, well, we're
There's a
not
lot
going
of
to...
comedy actors.
It's a lot of comedic actors and stuff, and you get this, even though they're saying, oh, all our effects are practical, okay, great. You're still going to make it a very kind of like safe movie.
Yeah.
I don't think Eternals is going to be that safe movie.
No, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
honestly,
I'm waiting for it.
I don't know if anybody's ever, have either of you guys watched Kim's Convenience?
No.
No.
Oh man, the main actor from Shang-Chi is in it,
Uh-huh.
and he plays one of the sons. It's hilarious. It's basically just
Kim's Convenience, you said?
yeah.
Why does that sound familiar?
It's on Hulu. It's basically about this family that owns a convenience store in Canada, and it's hilarious. It's a great. It's basically like what was it? It's Clerks, but using
It's Clerks. That's all you needed to say.
Well, no, it's essentially Clerks, but also using like this like stereotype of immigrants coming to the country and like,
Which one?
making-
Which act or which character?
He plays the son.
Oh, and he's the main actor in Shang-Chi?
He's the main actor in Shang-Chi.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Who was the guy that's in Eternals that he got really buff for this movie?
Camille.
Camille Manjani.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Camille Manjani.
He's a great actor.
He's
first of all.
great,
Yeah.
and he plays comedic roles.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he was
But
in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, but
Dude,
like,
that was hilarious.
Oh God, I love him in Silicon Valley.
but I think the way they're kind of portraying Eternals is a serious tone, and I think they're setting up for that kind of like
no,
tone.
but you know what the thing is? If you go by his story inside the comic books, he's a Bollywood actor.
Oh really? Oh,
That
that's
character is a
right.
Bollywood actor.
Uh-huh.
So I think that Camille Anjani is supposed to be like everyone's super hyper serious, and he's supposed to be the kind of like the funny guy, the guy that's bringing in like this humor and everything else. Because he's supposed to be like this posh Bollywood like actor who's like trying to make it big in Hollywood. But he's also like an eternal being that's lived forever.
So moving away from Eternals, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I really want to move on to the next subject.
Yeah, but real quick, what's the rest of the lineup? Because I know we got something else to celebrate.
Yeah. So let's
May
see.
4th,
So the rest is Spider-Man: No Way Home,
which we talked about to exhaustion.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which
Talked
will
to it.
be
Exhausted.
the first movie in 2022. And then after that will be Thor: Love and Thunder.
Taika Waititi.
Yeah. Black
Taika
Panther: Wakanda Forever.
Change name, and they keep stressing the fact that they're going to respect Chadwick Boseman's death. I think we shouldn't take that too much into consideration, just because they're going to change the story. They've probably already changed it to
Michael
a
B.
point.
Jordan has been asked if he will be involved in it, and he had to say he cannot confirm nor deny what Marvel has plans
Good.
doing that.
If he takes
if
up
he was involved, he cannot confirm nor deny.
You know what? I honestly, I wouldn't be sad about that.
Me neither. Honestly, Michael B. Jordan, go for it. Yeah,
Black Panther?
I don't think Chadwick would mind.
No.
Honestly, if it was Michael B. Jordan.
he was a great Black Panther, but I think he understands that the character wasn't his.
Yeah.
And I think here's part of the reason as to why, and I don't want to sound offensive when I say this.
You already
Shut up.
Canceled.
when you have to say I don't mean to sound offensive, that means you're already
No, because I don't want to get it taken out of context. Okay, so I think that the reason as to why Marvel's not talking so much about the Black Panther movie is because most people are looking at the sister taking over as Black Panther.
Yeah,
You have two audiences divided, right?
Yeah.
You have the audience that's saying the sister needs to be Black Panther, and you're saying that, oh, well, why can't it be Killmonger, who's Black Panther, right? Why are we so stuck upon the fact that there needs to be a Black Panther? If they're really going to respect Chadwick Boseman, then yes, keep it a secret so that way it's not about who's going to take up the next Black Panther mantle. It becomes about the story that he left behind.
But here's the issue though, because you've already set up you've already set up the idea that whoever takes over Wakanda is the Black Panther. That's like you like, as the leader of Wakanda, you become the Black Panther. You're the protector of Wakanda. Because you do have Killmonger as somebody who has taken the Black Panther fruit and everything like that. He's technically, because Shuri can't take that fruit anymore.
Yeah.
It was
gone.
all
Yeah.
gone by
Yeah.
the end of the last one. So it's kind of really weird where they kind of wrote themselves into like a little bit of a box where it was like, yeah, like he's like the only Black Panther, and then unfortunately Chadwick Boseman died, and they were just like, damn it. So now we're in a box. So that's what makes sense with Michael B. Jordan, where it's like, oh yeah, like what about if instead of, because a really interesting idea that you can always do is that Shuri was able to revive him. Like keep him alive. He wasn't dead. They were able to keep him alive because, mind you, he did die inside of their like facilities.
Yeah.
And he's been in their jail. And then something happens to T'Challa, and it's like we need a new champion. And
I think that's the thing too, is that for the character of Shuri, it doesn't technically, at least
it doesn't
Marvel's,
fit.
In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as a character of her,
Not
she
yet.
always loved building things and making things that benefit Wakanda and stuff like
she
that.
does become Black Panther in a future issues of the comic, which is cool. But I feel like,
but there was a build-up. That's
I
the
feel
thing.
like there was a build up to her becoming the Black Panther.
Yeah.
And you can always, because you can always say, no, you can't, because she was gone for 5 years.
Oh, she was, yeah.
Because I was thinking like, oh yeah, well, like when Black Panther died,
No, she was blipped.
technically she could have been taking over as Black Panther for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but she was blipped too.
They showed her she was one
She
of
was
the people that
blipped.
blipped away.
So I firmly believe then.
That's weird. Oh damn.
So
Yeah.
yeah, they're really.
I understand
they're
the
really
hole
in
they
the
built
corner.
themselves into, but like consider this then. When they keep stressing the fact that they're using this to respect Chadwick Boseman, it only makes sense to kind of hide what they're going to do.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
so
think
that the fans don't. As much as
don't
nerds
want
are some great fans.
backlash.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want that fan base to go like, "Excuse me, why can't you make a girl
Any
Black
sort
Panther?"
of fandom
I think
is a
it's-
strong fandom.
Yeah.
One being in particular is the Marvel fandom.
I'm gonna say right now, I believe that the Black Panther fandom is bigger than the Marvel fandom.
Yeah. No, I believe.
Sure.
I
More
will,
people went to go see
no,
Black Panther.
I will back you for that. No, that's
than,
true.
Than
yeah.
most Marvel movies.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You didn't.
No,
Which people who have never seen a Marvel movie before went to go see Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's true. When you put it that way, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying like Black Panther fans are bigger than the Marvel Cinematic Universe, than like way bigger. So they have there's a lot to kind of live up to and everything like that. And I think if they do it, with enough class, then it would be
Yeah.
okay.
It's
No,
going to be successful. I think with the way Black Panther was handled the first time around, if it's the same people
It is the
working
same
on this,
people.
then we have I firmly have faith that they're going to make this a good enough movie that's not just going to be a Marvel centric movie, but it's going to be like an ode to Chadwick Boseman and the legacy he left behind
Yeah,
with
because
this.
because the director Ryan Coogler, he specifically even said, he goes, "With the moment I heard about Chadwick Boseman's passing, I had literally just finished writing a line for Black Panther 2 that I had envisioned him saying." And so so since his passing, they've been working on Black Panther 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And then now having to rewrite the whole thing is insane.
yeah.
And I feel like this is also kind of weird too, because I feel like this is, I'm really hoping that they just don't do the Star Wars thing
What?
Oh.
with Carrie Fisher.
Oh,
no.
Even I think who said it? It was either the director or Kevin Feige said they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
with Chadwick's.
Yeah, like using Carrie Fisher. I mean, it was a good idea. It was a nice try. It's a nice try of trying to use like old archive footage to put it back in the movie.
Yeah.
It's an interesting idea, but
I think but it was weird because it
doesn't
was
work.
just for one scene and it just looked weird, even though they had like Tarkin in like a few scenes that looked pretty good.
yeah.
It won't. It won't.
That's the thing.
It's going to
That's
be
the-
different.
That's the thing of like they were just trying to use Carrie Fisher and they were trying to
Yeah.
get her into the movie because you can tell that wasn't Tarkin.
No, yeah, you could tell, but the movement. I mean, even he moved, and it was still kind of like, okay, well, I guess.
No, he looked good.
Yeah,
he
that's
looked
the thing.
real
He looked
good.
good.
He looked real good.
And then just that.
Are you
scene
talking
with-
about Rogue One?
Yeah, because he's in.
If you look at it closely, you can see where it's blurry.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You can see the outline. There's like an outline of him.
yeah.
Like if you're looking really close, that's why if you notice the shots are really short. There's not a lot of like long lingering shots on Tarkin.
He looks as if he was animated like Clone Wars animation.
No.
Yeah, he does.
No,
Look
he
at it
doesn't.
again. Look
No,
at it
he
again.
doesn't.
Now I gotta
Yes, he
watch
does.
Rogue One again.
No,
Not
he
like
doesn't.
to that extent that it looks like it. But okay,
All,
tell
like,
me that if he
sharp
was that, if he
lines and
looked,
everything.
no, yeah, you can tell in his cheekbones right here that there's some sharp lines that really look like.
there's some pixelation, but like the like
It's
the
not
amount
even
of
the
pores.
pixelation. Just trust
It's
me.
the pores.
Just
and
watch
everything
it.
like that. It does
I know
not
what I'm
look like
talking
it.
about.
No, you
But
don't.
moving
Oh my
on,
God.
moving on from Black Panther, we also have Marvels, the Marvels,
They
which
changed-
is changed the title of Captain Marvel 2.
They changed it so that it fits Miss Marvel, so they can kind of push away from Captain Marvel. Because
Well,
I
they're
have
also-
a strong
Well,
feeling.
they're also putting in what's her name from WandaVision? What's her
So
name?
I think it's gonna be 3 different Marvels.
Yeah, it's 3 different Marvels. It's what remember the
Because there is supposed to be a show.
she was
about
on
Miss
Sword. I
Marvel.
forgot her name.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah, what's her name? Oh my god,
I forget, but yeah, I know who you're talking
This
about.
is gonna bother me until I say
But
it.
yeah, because technically there's supposed to be 3 Marvels. Because Camilla Khan is supposed to be getting her own TV show
Yes,
on Disney Plus.
Yep.
And then you already have a Captain
Monica.
Marvel. Yeah, Monica Rambeau.
Monica Rambeau. Yeah, and Camila Khan. Yes,
And Camilla Khan, and then it's supposed to be Danvers.
yes.
So all 3 of them should be I think that would be an interesting movie.
Which
if, like all three
makes
of them
me a little bit more excited now for Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
as a whole,
it's
'cause,
something
yeah.
to look forward to.
That looks really interesting.
Yeah.
I have a feeling also Monica Rambeau is just gonna like beat the hell out of like Danvers.
That'd be so cool.
I feel like that's gonna
I
just
want
be
to see
like
that because she
full-
was so mad about that too when they
It's
mentioned her.
because she never came home.
Mm-hmm.
She just was out in space. She never came back, even when her mom got
The
sick.
Marvels is just civil war for the Marvels.
Yeah, for
So-
the Rambeau family.
So that's the final one in 2022. The first one in 2023 will be Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Not much to talk about because there's
No.
really nothing.
It's just
said.
Kang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kang
Okay.
the Conqueror, which they were saying that might be name dropped in Loki.
That's cool.
Well, because he originally is in that time.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
in that time force thing.
I
And
want to
everything
see
else.
because originally in the comic books he comes from like the future to against Captain America.
Isn't he also from the miniverse?
Yeah.
He's also from like the miniverse.
Uh-huh.
Right?
All right.
And
Next one.
then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3,
Okay.
and then Fantastic Four, which doesn't have a release date yet,
Yeah,
but
it
it
didn't
is
have a release
part of. I guess they'll be working on it in
So
the
that
near
means
future.
that definitely means they're casting and finding
Yeah.
finding a director.
Mm-hmm. And that's about it. The rest is just the television stuff. But there's still no release dates for those yet.
We're going to get more information after Loki comes out.
I think so.
Yeah, I
'Cause
think
that
that this
should
is
be after
Black Widow.
That's gonna be after Black Widow, but also after around the time Comic-Con usually happens.
Eternals will have a trailer by August, I want to say.
Yeah, because that is the final.
likely.
That's Loki's the final like finished Marvel movie, Marvel series, and then after that we have to wait.
I'm kind of
oh,
interested-
and then What If?
I
as
am
well.
kind of interested though to see what if there is an after credit scene for Black Widow of what exactly it's supposed to be, because I'm imagining it was changed.
I think it does have to be changed now. It was
Because if it was
changed,
gonna, lead into Captain America, I mean Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because that was originally supposed to be coming after. Then I don't really know where, like, what would you change it to now? So that's gonna be
something
interesting.
that's setting. Yeah, something that's setting up now.
Maybe something
is
about
what
the 10 Rings.
Maybe
That could be
that
right.
or U.S. Agent.
They could name drop Mandarin in Black Widow because now it's a whole new Mandarin.
Could be. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they were just trying to like do the Thunderbolts, because I honestly did think that Val from Captain America, from Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
Oh yeah.
she was originally in.
Oh yeah. She was
Black
supposed.
Widow.
That's the thing. She was supposed to appear first in Black Widow.
I think that
and
she was
then-
supposed to.
Yeah, and then appear in, and then secondly appear in Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah. So we'll
'Cause
see.
that was
how-
the original lineup. Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But
Phase 4 is
Phase
pretty
4.
packed.
you know what is just as packed? A
Fin-
Bad Bunch.
Oh!
Because the Bad Batch, baby.
All right, I know that we got a couple minutes left to talk
We only
about
got
it,
it.
but
I know. And
Yeah.
how is it that Marvel always takes over?
because it's a
for-
big franchise,
But
man.
I love
You-
Star Wars so much more.
Well, let's put it this way. May 4th was, at the time of recording, was like, what, 3 days ago?
It was
3 days ago. Yeah, it was 3
on
days
Tuesday.
ago.
It was on Tuesday.
So, yeah. It was 3 days ago, and, I think with everything kind of opening up and stuff like that, it was celebrated in the internet. I'll put it that way. Personally, I went to Guildhall. And
were they playing it at Guildhall?
no, they had drinks. If you're Whittier local or around the area, I know I shout them out a lot. I freaking love those guys. They always change their menus. You've been there, right?
Yeah, with Aurelio and Sean and everybody else.
Yeah, they always change their menus, I think weekly or every 2 weeks. And they had a Star Wars specific menu.
For the most part, they do. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a Star Wars specific menu. So I went there. I had my Anakin Skywalker lightsaber. Yes, it's Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber, not Rey's.
That's not what it said on the box.
No, my box says Anakin Skywalker.
Does it? No,
Yeah.
They
No.
don't have Anakin Skywalker.
No, they don't. I have the box that says Anakin Skywalker,
Yeah.
and I refuse to call it anything else.
Did you open it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know. I shouldn't have, but I was.
Shouldn't have. Yeah, but you could. How
I
could
still
you?
have the box.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still have
But-
it. But yeah, Star Wars.
But what I'm okay. So for this May the 4th,
Uh huh.
a new show came out from the creator of Clone Wars, Dave Filoni, and the original creators of the Clone Wars. The only person that didn't come back for it is George Lucas, technically.
Yeah.
But these are creations of George Lucas, because when they first originally came up with Clone Wars, this is one of the ideas
That he had.
that George Lucas had, was a clone force troop that was a bunch of defects. So basically, they've all been genetically modified clones that to have specific skills. and they could arguably take out an entire platoon by themselves, and which is shown in like the first like 5 minutes of the cartoon. What was it like where they take out almost 3 tanks and like an entire battalion of droids?
Is this led by the same guy that he was a director for The Mandalorian a couple episodes? He worked very closely with Jon Favreau. Who am I talking? Do you know who? What's his name?
Which one? You mean Jon Favreau?
Yeah.
I mean Dave.
Dave Filoni.
Dave Filoni.
Yeah.
It's led by him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Bad Batch is led by Dave Filoni.
He's the one that did Clone Wars.
Clone Wars.
Yeah,
That's his
yeah.
baby. Yeah.
Yeah, Clone Wars did his baby, and that's kind of what got him. Funny story though, Dave Filoni is actually originally from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Yes, I know the.
Have you ever heard that story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said it in the
Mandalorian?
The Mandalorian
behind
gallery.
the scenes thing.
Yeah, I love that story of just like he got called by Lucasfilm, and then he thought it was a prank call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he hung up on them.
He also said that he wasn't familiar with the CGI work.
He wasn't.
Yeah, so this was his first, and he did a phenomenal job.
That's right, because
It's
he's done just
It is
drawn
the
animation.
only reason I am willing to give Clone Wars a try. I'm going to say it right now, and I know you're going to hate me for it. You already know. I'm going to say it.
I already hate you right now.
I have not seen most of Clone Wars. I've seen like the first.
Okay. Get away. I will have to, unfortunately, hop on that boat with Bryan.
I'm on this boat alone.
Yeah.
I'm on the boat alone.
No,
So,
there's
but
okay.
the thing-
But
okay.
let me give you my reason as to why I haven't seen it. And for me personally, if a fandom is very aggressive towards me about not watching something, I usually back away from it.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, and so
I ignore fandoms a lot.
yeah, which
It's
you know
hard
you're
to do,
blessed for
especially
that.
for me when I work at a comic book store.
Yeah.
Like,
This is why I don't message on Twitter.
It's one of the reasons. It's one of the reasons I say The Last Jedi is the better of the new 3 films.
What the hell did you just say?
he's
What did you just say?
He's on that boat.
Part of it is to troll people.
I'm gonna stab you.
Oh my god!
I will
You get shanked. You know what? You know what? You know what? I'm gonna key your car.
No!
That'll hurt.
You know
See,
what?
look, that hurts more.
Yeah.
That hurts more than stabbing him.
No.
You know what? I'm just gonna kill you, and I'm not even being creative about it. I'm just gonna do it and pay the consequences. Like,
When the cops come, I'll be like, oh, he liked The Last Jedi. They'll be like,
Oh,
I
that's a
get
good
it.
reason.
I
It
get
goes
it.
up
I
to the
get
judge.
it.
What was
Hey,
your
God, why are
reason
you
for
making me
killing?
laugh when I'm eating a sour candy? That's in the back.
That's a justified murder right there.
so
Goes up to the judge.
So
It's like-
that's one of the main reasons the fandom was super aggressive in saying like, you need to watch this. Why have you not watched it? You call yourself a Star Wars fan and you know I've never seen a Clone Wars? Oh, how dare you? And I'm just like,
Clone
I'm
Wars?
like, yeah. Yeah, and I was just I didn't care. I'm just like, okay, like it's a side story to the entire trilogy. Like, but here's where I made the mistake. No, here's where I made the mistake. It isn't because there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, but that was my thought back then. Okay? Here's the thing. If you are aggressive at me and watching something, I'm not going to watch it. Why should I? Why are you being so aggressive at me? Just convince me to watch it and I'll watch it.
To be fair,
The Bad Batch does look interesting.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But don't come at me with like
I'ma come
torches
at you.
and freaking what is
come
it
at
called?
you.
The pike things, the picks. Don't come at me and being like, how dare you own all the Black Series
You're not
lightsabers?
Frankenstein. It's fine.
No, but people act that way. It's like, because here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's part of the reason as to why I never really out loud say I'm a big Star Wars fan, because some of the Star Wars fans, man, they're mean. They're pretty rude.
No. I fully agree with you.
You don't name your car after Star Wars characters, then you're not a fan. You don't name your dog after a Star Wars character, then you're not a fan. Buddy, Star Wars is massive. In order for you to even capitalize on anything Star Wars, you need to live, breathe, and eat Star Wars.
So I have a customer here that's a bit of a Star Wars gatekeeper. I won't say his name, but he
Are you talking about me?
no, not you. No.
Nicholas.
I'm not gonna say his name.
No. This would have to be an avid customer. So
I come in on Fridays.
that's true.
I come in on Fridays and I buy things because Rene then he tempts me like the temptress he is.
Which actually, I have a Darth Maul.
I
Clone
know. I
Wars
saw
pop.
it.
Yeah,
I saw
forgot
it when
to
I
tell
walked
you.
in. I saw it when I walked in. I was like, oh man, I should get that pop. That pop looks sick.
So I have a customer here, and when High Republic was originally gonna come out this was before issue 1. Right. I had a customer. He's like, "Yeah, are you guys gonna be carrying the High Republic?" And I'm like, "Yeah, actually, it should come out. I think like it was supposed to come out like February something." He goes like February 15th, and I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And it's like he goes like, "Yeah, so like, what is it supposed to take place?" I'm like, "I think it takes place like a couple like decades
it's a
before.
1,000 years.
Yeah, so I said like a couple hundred years before everything. He goes, actually, it's 1,000 years. I'm like,
No. That's not what he said. He's
Yeah.
like, actually, it's 1,000 years.
Yeah.
It's a couple thousand. You know.
and I'm just like,
Can you get it right, Renee?
So I told him.
It's
I
also
told him
not
straight.
a couple of thousand years. It's like 800 years.
Oh, okay.
Here's the reason why.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the reason why. Because Yoda is only like maybe 100 years old, and he says, "I'm 1,000 years old when he dies." So it's about like 900, like give or take, like 900, 800 years.
Have you guys ever met a Star Wars fan? And I feel like this entire segment has just become bagging on Star Wars fans, which is not. Because I think
not
stop-
we
all
got
Star
to
Wars
talk
fans.
about Bad Batch,
Stop
and I
bagging
do.
on me.
But you want to know something? Can we all agree here that we all love Star Wars?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd take Star Wars.
I take it.
I take it to dinner.
So
I'd definitely take it to
here's the
dinner.
thing. Here's the thing. I love Star Wars, and I love and consume a lot of specific parts of Star Wars. I can't stand, and I've met a fan because you said you met a fan that was like, oh, it's a couple thousand years.
Yeah.
I've known people that like gatekeep Star Wars, and they say, if you don't know the length of time it took, the Millennium Falcon to like run.
I was about to say you mispronounced the
I said it, but it was because I'm eating sour candy. What is it called? The run? The
Kessel Run.
If you don't know like the length of time and how fast it went or whatever,
12 parsecs.
then you don't know. But like they went to the
Nick, you're not
exact
helping.
point. But he's right.
Yeah.
But like that's like no, we're talking about like detail to detail on like any small little snippet, and I'm just like. Great.
Yeah.
You could you educate me instead of being a jerk?
Yeah.
Do they know Orbesh? Do they know it already?
Do you know?
Like, do you know Orbesh? Do you read it?
No.
No.
Okay, and you
That's
call
too
yourself
much.
yeah,
That's
it's
too
just like
much. That's already
please
too much.
don't gatekeep.
Yeah.
No.
And gatekeepers will harm the Bad Batch because you said it's good.
Yeah, I really liked
So
it.
tell you've seen how many episodes?
2.
Okay.
Because there's only
two
been 2 episodes.
There's only 2 episodes.
So educate us.
Okay, so here's what the Bad Batch. So this takes place in the maybe a month after the events of the ending of Clone Wars, because Clone Wars goes all the way from the battle on Geonosis, so maybe like a month or 2 after the battle. We've already been inside of the Clone Wars for a little while, all the way to the ending of the Clone Wars, episode 3, the execution of Order 66. So it takes place during that time.
So the Jedi are being slaughed as the Bad Batch.
So
is
the
going.
As soon as the Bad Batch starts.
As soon as the Bad Batch starts,
the order has been called.
The order takes place.
Yeah.
And
Wow, heavy.
Not only that, but also it's a
actually
great.
really good, yeah.
So Dave Filoni's really great at connecting a lot of like his other work. So there was another animated series that he had done, which was Star Wars Rebels.
Yes.
So what was it in this? In Star Wars Rebels, there was a Jedi Master named Caleb Jarrus.
Mm-hmm.
So or Kanan Jarrus. Sorry. In this one, because Kanan Jarrus always talks about Depa Billava, his master, what happened that day, but you never really seen what happened that day. You never really like kind of get the backstory. They came out with a comic book a while, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, kind of talking about what happened, like how exactly the clones betrayed her, how Kanan got away, and his original name was Caleb Dune. That he changed to Kanan Jarrus so that way he could hide from the Empire. In this one, you actually do get to see Kanan Jarrus become, you get to see Depa Billava's death. The Bad Batch were there. You get to kind of see what, from the clones' point of view, what is going on. Like, wait, why are we killing the Jedi? This doesn't make any sense. Because the Bad Batch have been genetically modified, so they don't have the inhibitor chips inside them.
Okay.
So because they don't have the inhibitor chips, when Order 66 comes out, they don't get brainwashed. So they still have their personalities.
They're seeing everything happen, and do they agree with what's going on?
No, they're just like, what is going on? Like, why are we killing the Jedi? Like, this doesn't make any sense. And then they're going, oh, well, the Jedi apparently committed a treason against the, against the Emperor and against Palpatine. And they're all kind of going like, and? Like, that doesn't sound like the Jedi. Like, that makes no sense. Why are we killing our generals? And what is the Empire? Like, you actually, so the Senate scene from episode 3, where he declares my brand new empire,
Oh, is this not the scene where he's like, execute order 60?
No, they have that scene, but it's the scene when he's in. It's right after they've killed Mace Windu. He's now inside of what was it, the Senate?
Yeah.
And it's the scene where Palpatine goes, and so this is what it looks like for democracy to die. It's like when he's like saying like, oh, which the Jedi.
Dude, it's actually really good.
That
dude.
You.
And I watch.
Can you be the spokesperson for Star Wars?
He basically is.
Because that's the thing. That's what I love. Okay, let me ask this question then.
Sure.
Because I mean, we do have to wrap up soon, and I want
No, we don't.
you.
We're gonna go 2 hours on this baby. Let's do it.
No, I want to. Here's the question I have for you, Nick.
Sure.
Can you watch the Bad Batch without watching Clone Wars if you know enough Star Wars?
If you know enough Star Wars, you could. Rene watched it and he enjoyed it. And he hasn't seen Clone Wars.
I haven't seen Clone. I only got up to episode 6 in Clone Wars.
High five.
So he watched it. He enjoyed it. He kind of knew what was going on and stuff like that. Here's the difference, and this is the reason why I'm a huge fan of Dave Filoni and everything else, is because he adds things. He rewards you for watching his past work,
which is fine. It's your past artwork. Why would you not? Yeah.
So he brings a lot of characters in from his old work. So like in Clone Wars, they go to the Twi'lek homeworld, and then you see Mace Windu, and they're having a battle during the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And the general there, he's fighting and everything like that. He's Hera, one of the Rebels pilots' dad.
Mm-hmm.
In Rebels, he's recounting that episode to the group.
Oh.
So he's telling it like a war story. But if you watched Clone Wars, you know what happened that day. So you can kind of pick up, oh, he's talking about the day, because he goes like, and then Master Windu comes down and slash this thing. And if you watched Clone Wars, you're like, oh, I remember that episode. That episode's awesome.
So now my next question becomes, how do I get to become the apprentice of Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau? because that is such a great thing to do.
Yeah, it's a nice little reward for watching all the way through.
You know, we're not going to tell directors or writers how to do their jobs. Each one is allowed to do anything they want to.
Yes.
You know, Christopher Nolan can. There's my Christopher Nolan plug-in. Christopher Nolan can do whatever he wants with his movies.
Almost won an episode.
We were literally going to end an episode.
Like, I'll put it this way: Nolan, Christopher Nolan does this thing where it's like, if you get his movies, you get his movies. It's not too bad. You get left behind. Each director and writer can do whatever they want with their work, right? Mm-hmm. But I really love when a director, writer, producer, whatever it is, does that. They have work behind them. They're trying to make more work come out of like that sort of stuff. And instead of punishing you for not watching the other stuff and trying to say, oh, if you want to get this, you can go ahead and watch the other stuff. Instead of doing that, they kind of like bring in new audiences and say, like, if you haven't seen my past work, that's fine. You can come and hop in here. When you get the chance or when you get the time, just go back. Filoni has that attitude because now that you've said this, I want to watch Bad Batch. Yeah. I really want to jump into it. Can I watch Bad Batch and watch Clone Wars next to it? Yes? No?
That's the thing.
You know what? You know what I would say from that? Because there's a lot of things that happen that Bad Batch talks about that would technically be spoilers for Clone Wars.
That's fine. I mean, I've missed out on it. It's been years.
I honestly, I would watch Clone. The best thing I can say about Clone Wars is you can put it on in the background and enjoy it.
Yeah,
like it's a great show if like I'm trying to like do laundry, something like that. I'm gonna put it on in the background and I'm just gonna enjoy a good old fashioned start because very much so. I think you would love Clone Wars, especially since it also has the same opening that we do. Where it has like that old timey radio kind of opening of like last time on Clone Wars.
Clone Wars,
General Kenobi did this and which was awesome too because they didn't do it on the second episode, but to make that connection to Bad Batch, Dave Filoni had the person who did that voice come back and redo it for the beginning of Bad Batch. Yeah. Because it's technically the ending of Clone Wars going into Bad Batch.
Okay. I mean, I didn't stop watching Clone Wars because I got tired of it. I just got, distracted by other things, but I'll go back.
And the thing is that the Bad Batch doesn't get introduced until the final season of Clone Wars.
The final season of Clone Wars, Bad Batch doesn't get, because that's the interesting thing. And
now looking back at it,
looking back on it. But the thing is that even the Bad Batch have something that's rooted in past Star Wars lineage because their troop name is Troop 99, which some people go like, oh yeah, like they're, if you reverse it, it's 66. It's Order 66.
Sure.
Whatever. But the main big thing is that in an episode, so there's an early episode of the Clone Wars where there's no Jedi to be seen. It's just the clones.
Okay.
And it's about this platoon that's coming out of what was it? Boot.
Mm-hmm.
They're on Camino. They're learning to be stormtroopers. I mean, to be clone troopers, not stormtroopers. Nobody likes stormtroopers.
Okay.
They never aim well. Anyway.
No. Hold on. But so anyway, what you end up finding out is that there was a defective clone. And he basically had no aptitude for, shooting a gun, doing anything like that. He's a defective clone. Kind of looks like Quasimodo.
Okay.
Where he has like a hunchback and everything like that. And his code name is Clone, he's Clone 99.
Uh-huh.
And in the Battle of Camino, they're trying to escape and save some of the younger clones, and he ends up sacrificing his life to save them. And he ends up getting like the Medal of Honor for it in the Clone Wars.
Uh-huh.
And it's so interesting because the way that not only 99 dies, but also the fact that, because he is one of their brothers, after the Bad Batch was made, because they're all technically defective clones, they then took on his mantle of saying like, we can become soldiers.
Filoni, genius.
Oh yeah, and also that episode, tears, just tears all the way down. There's just tears.
Straight up, just tears.
Well, yeah, because there's a lot. But the thing is that Dave Filoni never stopped. He never stopped storytelling the way that George Lucas meant to storytell.
No, because that's the thing is that, and we see it in, Jon Favreau's, when he talks about The Mandalorian, when you get people that work behind Star Wars that truly love the Star Wars story and, grew up with it and truly appreciate the fine details of it, you get very good stories of it. And you can tell when a story is like really well done, because I feel like most people look at Star Wars and want a good story when they want to see tragedy, when they want to see death and darkness and all this other stuff. Oh, if the Sith don't overcome, the light, then it's clearly a bad story. No. Some of the good pieces of Star Wars storytelling comes from people that understand and grew up and admire the work that George Lucas left behind.
Well, the thing is that with the way that, because Dave Filoni, when he first came on, he knew Star Wars, but he didn't know Star Wars.
Yeah.
He was basically the apprentice to George Lucas's
but he grew,
Jedi master.
Yeah, and he grew to...
He grew to understand, love, and to appreciate what Star Wars was. And when George Lucas was going over what Star Wars meant to him, he goes, Star Wars is one thing. He goes, it's a family story.
Yeah.
If you can have a family story inside of Star Wars, that's what makes Star Wars. That makes a great Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of what was missing from the 7, 8, and 9. There wasn't that family aspect. There wasn't anything like that. Whereas from these animated series, even The Mandalorian, you feel like there is this family vibe of like, we care about each other. We're a group, and we're going to survive this. And you care, and you really do care. And that's what you feel from the Bad Batch. You feel that they all care about each other. There's a lot of like really interesting scenes where like they're shooting other clones, but they're specifically shooting them to basically make
disarm them,
to like disarm them and not kill, because they're stunning them. They're not killing because they know our brothers are being controlled and it's not their fault.
Easy. It's like I'll put it this way. It kind of, when you said that, it's like, oh, well, if Disney's the one handling this, they probably don't want to introduce death to it. But even if that was the excuse, it's a good enough reason personally that I could buy into that and say, like, if they don't want to introduce death to people and, make it all super dark and stuff like that, it's a good reason to go around that and say, like, yes, I can understand that.
Yeah, like we're not going to kill our brothers because they don't know what they're doing.
That's good.
And everything like that. And it's super cool. It's really great. If you haven't seen Clone Wars, Rebels, or Bad Batch, I'm telling you, go watch them. They're amazing stories. If you watch them all kind of back to back, I'm telling you, you have hours upon hours of great Star Wars storytelling.
Cool. How about this, Rene? Let's watch Bad Batch. Let's talk about it in a future issue of the podcast.
Yeah, after it's done, we'll definitely.
Yeah.
Can you guys finish season 1 of Clone Wars?
Yeah.
And we'll talk
No, you've convinced me.
During this time, I'm going to watch Clone Wars.
Thanks for,
I'm bringing you in, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm bringing you in.
No, that's what it is.
And you know what? I really want more people to love Star Wars for what it is.
Thank you. No, that's what it should be. Can you we got to go with our lightsabers and fight off any gatekeepers?
No, but the thing is that I feel like it's so awkward whenever people go like, well, that's not Star Wars, and I always go that, well, only Siths deal in absolutes.
Ooh.
And that only a Sith deals in absolute. And
then you're just like, yeah, exactly.
I will do what I must.
That if we can't have this entire thing is about democracy. If we all can't talk about it, then you're a Sith.
I mean, most people are okay with that. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this issue up because we're already at an hour and 40, right?
No, an hour and 30.
That's not bad.
That's not
All
bad.
right.
That's not too bad.
So,
Yeah.
guys, thank you. If, I know these issues are long, but I think with the inclusion of Nick and how much fun we've been having, I think that these issues have just become a lot more entertaining for us, as producers, and hopefully as listeners, you guys enjoy the extra content that's being added into it. Because I know that we've had some people come back to us and say like, an hour is too short. Well, guess what? We're adding like 30 minutes extra to you guys.
Were they saying an hour was too short?
An hour is too short, yeah. I mean, my fiance who listens to this every week, thank you, by the way, babe. She was saying like, oh, well, an hour is like, too short. Like, why can't you guys do more? And there you go. Now we have more entertainment from us nerds over here.
Yeah, I came with an extra 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Came with an extra 30 minutes. So.
Just a reminder, guys, you guys can find us on all our socials, Instagram and Twitter. Just look up Keeping Up with the Nerds. We actively post up when the new issues go up. And any extra photos Renee wants to post up there on our stories, go ahead and follow us on Instagram. We're almost at like 100. We're like 8 away.
Yeah.
So let's keep this going, guys. We passed the 50 subscriber mark on YouTube.
Yeah.
Woo! Can I get an applause from you guys?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. 50 subscriber mark on YouTube. We do have a YouTube channel where we took a bit of a break on videos. We were with the website being uploaded and all the work and all the planning that we're doing. We're reformatting what we're pretty much going to be doing for the next couple of months. So bear with us, but go subscribe to Keeping Up with the Nerds on YouTube. We do have our podcasts uploaded up there as well. You guys can find us on Podbean, where we upload our podcasts every Wednesdays at 11:30. So if you are a new listener, that is when we upload. Podbean, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. If you guys can leave reviews, let us know what you guys think and what you guys want to hear. We do have a website, keepingupwiththenerds.com. You guys can find out where we record, anything about us. Ask us questions there. We have creator spotlights, so if you guys want shout outs and stuff like that, shoot us an email our way. We'll talk. We'll see what we can do, and it's just a place where you can find everything there. So let us know what you guys think. With that said, is there anything else I forgot? No? All good? We ready to wrap up this issue?
I think
Issue 47?
Issue 47.
Cool.
Oh, we
Away
didn't
from
say
50.
We didn't say the number of the beginning of this episode.
That's fine. We're almost at 50. At the 50, we got to celebrate. All right, so we ready to wrap this up?
Let's do it.
It's my turn, right?
It's your turn to do the
Let's do this.
closing.
Here we go. Thank you, citizens, for listening to this issue of Keeping Up with the Nerds Variety Hour. I'm your host, Bryan.
Nick.
Rene. Coming to you from 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California. Recording at Undercity Comics. We thank you, citizens, once again, and hope to see you all next time.